How much do you think we can get done in just one 11-hour day at Universal Orlando using Express Pass and early hotel entry? To start off our day, we were on the very first bus that left Cabana Bay at 7:30 a.m. so that we could be in line at 8 a.m. to scan in for early park entry at Islands of Adventure. And the very first ride that we went to wait in line for was Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure. We picked Hagrid's first because the line for it can get much longer later in the day, but also because this ride does not have Universal Express, so we were not going to be able to use our Express Pass to skip the line for it later in the day. After Hagrid's and meeting the conductor of the Hogwarts Express, we did our next few rides in Seussland, and most of them were walk-ons and you didn't even really need Express for them, but we did use the Express Pass just because we had it. Seussland was so dead early in the day that by 9:30 a.m. we had already ridden every ride inside of Seussland and decided to ride the High in the Sky trolley for a second time because that's my son's favorite ride. After riding 6 rides in just an hour and a half, Phoenix needed a little bit of a break, so we stopped for a bit so he could play in the playground. Once he was done in the playground, we went over to Marvel's Superhero Island, where we rode Storm Force Excellatron, met Captain America, who looks very different than the one that we're used to in California, and went on the amazing adventures of Spider-Man. After we were done in Superhero Island, we went over to Toon Lagoon, where we did say hi to Popeye and Olive Oyl, and then we found another playground to play on. We played on this cool boat playground for a little bit, but eventually Phoenix was ready to go on another ride, and we went to ride Skull Island, The Reign of King Kong. At this point, the park was definitely starting to get a lot busier, and when we went to ride Flight of the Hippogriff, the wait time was actually 75 minutes, so we were very excited that we had Express Pass. After riding Flight of the Hippogriff, we did watch a cute Dr. Seuss show in Seussland, and then we went to have lunch at Mythos, which is my favorite place to eat at Universal. After lunch, we were ready to park hop, and we wanted to take the Hogwarts Express, but we're really bummed to find out that it was actually closed for refurbishment on the day that we were there. We still wanted to park hop though, so we walked over to Universal Studios Florida and started with VillainCon and meeting Doc Brown. Then it was time to take Phoenix on the E.T. Adventure ride, which I still miss at Universal Studios Hollywood and wish they had never taken out. After that, it was time for 2 more rides, the Troller Coaster and the Twirl and Hurl ride. You've probably caught on by now that we weren't doing too many of the big roller coasters that Universal has to offer, and that's because even though my son is tall enough for most of them, he's not a crazy fan of giant roller coasters with huge loops, so we did skip the rides like Hulk and Velocicoaster and Rip Ride Rocket. He did really love the Hagrid's motorbike ride, and he loves this Escape from Gringotts ride, so we are working our way up towards bigger roller coasters. You've probably also noticed at this point that we did not do a lot of shows either. We were at Universal Orlando for 2 days during our vacation, but we only had Express Pass for one of the 2 days. So on the day that we had Express Pass, we focused on rides, and on the day that we did not have Express Pass is when we did more of the shows. And one last thing that I'll mention is that we probably could have done so much more, except the day that we were there, the park closed at 7, so we had to leave when the park closed at 7, but we did get to do 20 rides, a show, 2 playgrounds, and 6 meet and greets.